tonight on Delmarva Sports Insider. The shot heard round the shore. Cambridge and Easton coming down to the wire. We've got the highlights coming up.
That's right, and still to come, could Dover remain unbeaten on the season, or was Sussex Tech able to knock off the top dogs? Highlights from their showdown in Georgetown are straight ahead.
Plus, I'll have more details on the upcoming winter storm, but right now we still have winter storm watches in effect for Cambridge, Salisbury, down towards Somerset County. Winter weather advisories to the north. Winter weather advisories, it just means you're going to have a little less snow than other areas. We're going with 3 to 6 inches from Cambridge to Salisbury to Georgetown, a little bit less as you head towards the beaches. I'll be back in a couple of minutes with more details.
All right, Daniel. Well, the studio is full, the lights are on, and it's time for Delmarva Sports Insider. I'm Ryan Eldridge, alongside our sports director, Trayvon Miles, the local legend, and the ever-talented Philly native, Jeff Harris. Stop it right now.
That's exactly right. Welcome to your new favorite show, the only show giving you in-depth analysis of sports action here on the Eastern Shore.
That's right. It seems like this might be the first DSI that we have in the new year without any snow.
Yeah.
Next week, we might have some snow on the ground, and we're in full basketball mode as we approach pretty much the midway point of the season. Lots and lots of hoops action to get to, both from Maryland and then, of course, from Delaware.
Exactly right.
Yeah, and we had a bunch of great matchups, as Jeff just alluded to. Great finishes. Beginning, of course, that shot heard round the shore, I think is what you called it in Cambridge.
Exactly right. The Vikings now under direction of new head coach Marty Bailey Jr. and thriving, and a chance to take the driver's seat in the Bayside North with Bailey's old team, Easton, in Groove City last night. The Vikings looking to defend that home court in this rivalry game, and what a game it was. Jam-packed first quarter off the inbound pass. Lamont Powell spotting up, knocking down the corner three, and then check it out later in the quarter. Feed the big man, why don't you? Jaden Copper, total beast mode down low. Count the bucket plus the foul, but the Vikings made a late push in the first half. Davion Ralph driving all the way to the rack, finishing on the left side. Cambridge up 9 at half.
That's right, and this one will come down to the fourth. Ralph going to spot up in the corner and nails that triple to cut the lead to just 1, so it would become a free throw game. Here we go, Copper at the line. Easton up by 1. He makes the first, misses the second, so the Vikings would have a chance to win under 10 seconds on the clock. Keyshawn Potter with the ball. Keyshawn Potter with the bank and the game. The Vikings, look at all the fans storming the court. They are all alone atop the Bayside North. The final 63-62 Cambridge.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of kids in the stands there were us, just that like.
You saw that, right? Yeah.
What just happened? How do we feel about that game?
Yeah, well, first of all, shout out to David Dodson for that video right there. He said last night there is something about Marty Bailey, and buzzer beaters. Easton was on the right side of that happening a few years ago. And I think Cambridge was the trendy pick kind of going into this game. People were seeing how they were surging, how they played in the Governor's Challenge. I didn't expect it to be as close as it was and for it to come down, obviously, to a buzzer beater. But they got the job done, so you can't fault them.
At home, down 9 at the half, resilient, able to come back, obviously cut that lead to just 1, and then you have a shot like that. And it couldn't have happened any better. You're in front of your home crowd, and you have all your parents, your fans, everybody there, and then you hit the buzzer beater, and then you saw what happened. All the fans and your parents and everybody there just storm you on the court. So certainly Coach Bailey doing something right. But aside from that game, I don't know how we're going to top it. But we did have other games happening in and around Maryland. For more on those, Jonah Restuccio is standing by.
Thanks, guys. We'll keep with the rivalry theme. Tonight, a city rivalry with Y-High and Bennett. It was another packed house on College Ave, and Y-High jumping out to an early lead in the first and holding on to it. Keyshawn Marshall swatting that through the door. I think it rolled to the parking lot on Saquon Cotton. And the turnovers, a key for Bennett in this one. Jaden Baker scoops up the steal, comes away with the layup. Game high 24 for him. Bennett looking for some sort of life. Savion Bivens with the and 1. Still, Bennett would be down 21 at the break. And then the end of the third, Baker dishing to Jason Handy. Big boy move inside. And then Baker, this time, another assist to Dorian Stevens, trailing for 3. I think he knocks it down from the cookout around the corner. Y-High stays unbeaten in conference with an 83-70 win. And staying in the South, another rivalry. Pocomoke searching for their first win of the year up against Snow Hill. The Warriors sprinting out of the gate. Brandon Snowden with the 3. He had 12, and Pocomoke up 13 at the half. But Pocomoke has blown leads in the second half. and this one was just the same. A 14-4 run from Snow Hill. Zaire Johnson with a couple threes, and then Curtis Blake, team high 28 for him. Eagles, they get that lead back, and they'd hold it all the way into the fourth quarter until Charles Finney took over and won. And then with 15 seconds to go, Finney fouled, so he gets 2 shots, still down 1, misses the first, and makes the second. So Snow Hill with a chance to win with 5 seconds. Pocomoke's Joe Collins picks up the loose ball, and he loses it. And we head to overtime, and in overtime, Pocomoke finished this game with 4 players. Shakant Williams with the bucket and the foul. Snow Hill escapes on the road, 93-88.
Down here, it's always a rival between us and Pocomoke, so this game meant a lot to me. So every time a crowd talked to me, I'm at the free throw line, take my time, knock down the free throw. It builds our confidence a lot. Our team, everybody's getting better by the day goes on. I'm getting better, Zai's getting better, everybody's getting better.
Up in Caroline County, Colonel taking on rival North Caroline, keeping the theme. This guy, Lorenzo Turner, was feeling it from behind the arc. 3 of his game-high 29 points. But the Bulldogs have their big guy on the inside. Kendron Wayman gets it on the low block and finishes at the rim. Bulldogs would be up by 2 headed into the break. Fast forward to the final 2 minutes of the fourth. J.B. Brown ties things up, but Colonel would again go up 2. Nobody can get the bucket to go for North. High, Turner is fouled and would split his free throws, so last chance for the Bulldogs, down by 3. Vital Bonds goes the length, stops, pops, and shorts, and Colonel goes on the road and takes down North Caroline 51-48. All right, this one from earlier this week, David Arnold taking his Crisfield team up against a Crisfield alum, Andre Collins, and his early on the home team hanging tough. Jarrell Spates with 3 of his team-high 15. Bennett down 2 after the first. Crabbers would begin to turn it on, led by this guy, Justin Cohen, game-high 26. Crabbers up by 10 at half. No stopping number 11 in this one. Second half, the road team would turn up the defense. Courtray Fontaine with the block on the inside. And then on the other end, Fontaine throwing down the alley-oop. Look at that. Go up and get it, fella. Defense leading the offense for Crisfield. And the Crabbers with another. Rykel Waters' steal turns into 2 more. 17 from him. Crisfield runs away with it in the second half. They win 74-58. And guys, what are some other scores from around the Bayside?
Thanks, Jonah. Earlier this week, actually this game was yesterday, Parkside just obliterating Stephen Decatur. A rough week for Decatur with both Y-High and Parkside on the schedule. And how about Queen Anne's? Tough week last week. They go to Kent Island and get a very good win against their rivals.
Yeah, and talk about blowouts. Crisfield and Washington, that's about, my math right, 34-point difference.
Yeah.
88-54 in favor of the Crabbers, who, by the way, a perfect 5-0 since dropping to Dunbar in the Governor's Challenge. Pretty much finding their form since the new year. Now, North Dorchester and Mardella winning their bracket in the Gov Challenge and have now gone on to win 4 of 5. So, Trey, I know you're pretty close with that team. Something's brewing over there at Mardella.
Jermichael Mitchell is who's brewing. That's what's brewing. Shout out to Coach and his guys. And we got a few more milestones to celebrate. We had 3 this week. Mardella senior Armani Banks came into yesterday needing 9 points for her 1,000 against North Dorchester. She got in the second quarter there to celebrate with her family. Big congratulations to her. The second, Bennett Jr. Zaire Peanut Smullen. She came in at 990, and in the second quarter against Y-High, she went over the 1K mark. Congratulations to her as well. And last but not least, Dorian Stevens of Y-High. Now, he hit the mark back in December, but their game Tuesday against Decatur was the first game back in the Waller Dome, and that is where he was honored. So 3,000 points right there in that little montage.
What do we think is the most surprising thing that happened this past week in Maryland in terms of, high school basketball?
I'm going to go with Bennett. They had a chance this week to kind of put the conference on notice, albeit with 2 of the best teams in the conference, with Y-High and Crisfield coming into their gym. And simply stated, they blew it. They did not look good in their own gym. They didn't have any kind of home court advantage. It was just a really tough week by Bennett.
Yeah, and then on the opposite side of that spectrum, Crisfield, we talked about it, 5-0. They played Bennett, who obviously played a step down maybe to some of their competition and what they're capable of, but they're still 5-0.
Yeah.
So, you know, something certainly speaks to that. They're playing good basketball right now, and this is the time to play good basketball.
Because
this
next
is
week?
exactly how you get into the playoffs with a strong schedule. Y-High certainly going to be a test, of course.
That's exactly right. All right, that's going to do it for our Maryland basketball coverage. Coming up, we take things to Delaware. Delmar getting off to one of their best starts in a while. Sean Phillips and company taking on Seaford when Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
I'm Curtis Blake. I'm from Snow High School, and this is Delmarva Sports Insider.